Hello, everybody. Welcome. Today I am having a juicy chat with Karen Humphries. I'm so excited to share her epicness. We are like queens of swear bears over here, so that might happen. Just if you've got it on loud with your kids around, you might just want to put your earbuds in, and who knows, we might behave ourselves. And I'm just going to get Karen to introduce herself.
I'm so not behaving myself at all. Hi, my name's Karen Humphries and I'm a change facilitator. I'm a qualified practitioner in kinesiology, intuitive meditation, virtual gastric band, hypnosis, wellness coaching. It's just ridiculous how many qualifications I've got. I like getting to the root cause of our humanness experiences and what makes us tick. And because of that, I help. I first started working with Natasha a couple of years ago in a fempreneur group. That's how we met. And ever since then, you've been saving my life when it comes to tech and helping me work through the trauma of that. So, and then I share that with my own business community. So Thank you for having me today.
It's a pleasure. Yeah, we totally get along like long lost friends. And I love that about so many of the people that I help, that it feels like I've known you for always. It's just such a blessing. I just have to pinch myself like, is this my life that I get to hang out with this amazing person and just do stuff that feels so easy? And and you do Australian bushflower essences as well.
I do. I love them. I love bushflower essences. And so I love anything that is on this continent, actually. So tuning forks, bushflower essences. I just got my TBM activator and I've been clicking like a crazy lady. So I do all sorts of crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, like every business owner, you have to keep reminding yourself that when you were first born, it took you a year to learn to walk. And I can't master my website in one day as much as the control freak in me wants to. Yeah. But you've helped save me with that. So,
well, it's not just you. I mean, nearly everyone I work with experiences that, and me too when I'm setting up new tech. And I think that's why 2-year-olds cry all the time, because there's so much learning in that period. And I'm like, that's why we'll be freaking out about the tech. Like, just need to stand up and walk away way more.
I love that analogy. Love that analogy. And I love the fact that I think we could almost quote, it was not even 3 months ago you gave me permission to walk away after 3 hours of trying to fix something. You're like, oh, darling, that should really be 30 minutes and then we'll start again. And it's so true. When things don't work, if that's one of my best tips that you've shared with me this year is just get up. I'm giving you permission now. If you get nothing else out of this podcast episode, when you get frustrated, walk away. Practice the pause. I talk about it with my clients all the time. Practice the pause. Get up. Change the sensory experience that your brain is having. Look at something different. Listen to something different. Touch something different so your brain can go, oh, there's actually not a saber-toothed tiger in front of me. I'm actually okay. Now I've got fresh set of eyes. Now I'm not in survival anymore. Now I can look at it with fresh set of goggles.
Well, yeah, and sometimes it's not even with you. It's actually server side. There's a problem with Facebook or the website or whatever, and you really do need to at least turn off your computer and turn it back on, and probably more likely just try again in 24 or 48 hours, because I have wasted too much of my life, like refresh, try, because I'm such a bulldozer. I'll just keep trying and then look back and just think, oh, wow, I could have actually done something nice with my life instead of just grinding away there.
You know, that actually makes me laugh, because I'm old enough, and I'm happy to say, I'm very proud to say that I can get old after having a cancer experience, is that I was old enough when everyone wrote everything with a pen and paper and then computers came in. And the old school of, if it doesn't work, turn it off and turn it back on again. When you ring a help desk anywhere, they're going to say to you, so did you turn it on and off? Like, well, yes. No, turning it on and off. All else fails, turn that sucker off.
Yeah. And I know that, like, marketing-wise, tech is something that does trip you up. But I wonder what else. I mean, I just want to start with what's challenging, and because it's usually, if I say what's good about your marketing, you're going to think about all the things that are hard. So we may as well just start with that. What else are like the grind or like the challenging things about
marketing? So you're trying to make me cry right from the get-go. Great. That's great coaching advice. Let's just break it while we can.
Let's get into it.
The biggest thing is I think when you first start out, and this is what I see with the people that I coach and mentor in my Work Wives group, is when we first start out, our confidence isn't fabulous. We've just got our qualification. We're very new to this beautiful service that we're offering. And then everything that we're doing is new. You know, we're reconciling, we're meeting clients, we're asking for money. So everything is new. So the chance for overwhelm is very high. And so the need to just have a really slow pace and do one thing well and then do the next thing and ease into it. And I'm working with a lot of trainers at the moment, helping them to educate their students before they finish. Start your marketing in your final stretch, not your last module. By the time you're halfway and you know that you're going to finish your qualification, that is actually when you should start your marketing.
Yeah. And also you've just got so much content ideas because you're learning all this stuff. You're really excited and passionate, and
exactly.
you're writing anyway. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's the ideas are fresh. And so there's so many facets to marketing. One is the confidence to do something new, the confidence to be seen and not feel afraid of putting yourself out there. And I'm not even talking lives, just a post.
True.
And, you know, overcoming that, and then overcoming the lives and showing a little bit of your belly, not just, you know, people don't want to see just the professional side of you. They want to see your canine therapy dog sitting on the floor with your feet doing absolutely jack shit all afternoon. And they want to see that human element with you. They want to have a relationship with you before they book. And I think that's one of the strongest things that you've gifted me, is that awareness of, I have to show more than what I know. I actually have to show my humanness. And for a lot of people, that makes us feel vulnerable.
Absolutely.
And I think, you know, showing your vulnerability is probably one of your best marketing things that you could do. I think the next thing is have a crack at the tech, and then have another one, and then Google, how do I do this tech mind fuckery? And then talk to someone like you, or surf your YouTube for all of the instructions, and then know your limits. If you really can't figure it out, have a mentor or have a guide or have someone help you figure it out. Because otherwise it runs you. You then create a fear of continuing to do it. You create all of these sabotage programs, and you could do away with all of that with just a quickie 30 minutes. Like, how many times over the years have I emailed you, I just need 30 minutes?
Yeah, and not even. Usually we just smash it in 5.
And you show me how to do it, and we record that little instruction that takes 2 minutes, and then I've got it, and look at what I can do now. And that's not an ego thing. It's like, oh my, I actually sat there looking at my website the other day going, look at what I can do now.
Exactly.
I did all of that all by myself.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I have another client who, when we started, and it was a few years ago, she just wasn't running her own website, wasn't running her email marketing, you know, was just so underconfident about everything, and now is just smashing it. Like, she'll come to me with like the real minutiae questions that we can knock off in 2 minutes because she's done everything. And
yes,
you really can rewire.
I agree. And I don't think you realize that when I talk to people, they don't realize how when we knock our confidence when something doesn't work, it translates and blocks so many other things that we're trying to manifest.
Yeah.
And so if you can smash out this one little thing, like creating a graphic or a post or figuring out your preferred formula for writing text. I mean, I know this year I've gone through a few bits and pieces, and I've really not wanted to market. And it's only until recently that I understood the basic principle of it's actually okay to pay, to have people see you, to have a visibility, and to understand how imperative that is on so many different levels.
Yeah.
Rather than this whole tight ass Tuesday mentality of I'll do it for free. I actually see the benefit of it now that I'm marketing my published book. I actually see the payback of the investment of time and energy.
Yeah. It's
And
a
so I think
different energy that people come at you if they've paid. They're way more invested in the solution.
Yes. And I think too, this beautiful realization that you don't need 10,000 followers and to be a influencer on Instagram. I actually now love the followers and the numbers that I have because they don't dip. They don't come and go. When they come, they stay because they're my people.
That's the thing.
And I'm fully booked for the rest of the year, and it's only September.
Exactly.
So I'm doing something right.
There's so much noise. Like the dominant voice is this many followers, this kind of presence.
Yeah.
So large number of followers, a really super shiny presence, everything polished and graphically looking amazing. And I think, sure, that's good for you. You do that. If you find that easy, you do that. And then there's us who are doing it different, and it doesn't feel like that for us. And I'm thinking, actually, the trauma background, whether people know they've got it or not, I mean, that's what I keep seeing again and again. In myself, I had like unacknowledged trauma, and now that I've managed to move through some of that, things feel easier, but I now have good tools for self-regulation and all different things. But there is a point where, sure, if you don't have any trauma, like my husband, perfect upbringing, loving parents, white man, of course, like he can do pretty much any fucking thing he wants. Yeah. And if you've had a trauma-free background, all of those certain strategies in business are going to feel much more achievable, and you're going to want them. But for anyone, which is so many women who are carrying layers of trauma, then showing up, being visible, speaking your truth, it's all terrifying, as well as not trauma conditioning, but just primal conditioning of like staying safe in the tribe. If I push against the norms, I'm going to get like pushed out alone in the savannah and get eaten by a lion. Like that, intellectually we know that's BS, but it doesn't feel like BS.
And let's clarify for your audience, trauma is just an experience that you haven't got all of the resources to overcome. So if you have something like I did, like massive technotarditis, and you're afraid of technology or writing a newsletter or doing posts or paying for ads, that sabotaged everything in my business. And you know how many things I tried to do, and I really did have a fair crack at some of these things. And some things, I reckon I broke my website 3 times. The first time I rang you in tears, oh my God, I broke it. She goes, I just reset it. Like, oh, okay, tears, stop, I can fix that.
Yeah.
So it's really just allowing yourself that gift of when it's not going right, you get to say to yourself, well, we don't learn to walk straight away. You know, there's no saber-tooth tiger in front of me. There's no blood on the floor. There's no fire. I'm actually okay. Who can I call or email to say, how do I fix this, or how do I do this? Is there an instruction? I've lost track of how many people go onto Natasha's YouTube channel and find the instruction. Boom, boom, boom. Search it here. Oh, there it is. Oh, yep, Bob's your uncle. We're off.
Yeah. And I see, I mean, my daughter has stuff that's happened to her, and I just see an amazing person, a smart person, a kind, just gorgeous, sparkly person who isn't able to do what I did. I mean, we all have different degrees of trauma. At her age, like she's 20, it's hard to stand by and watch how hard she has to fight just to do things that everyone that I know who doesn't have that level of trauma background is like, why doesn't she have a job? Why isn't she in a course? Why? I'm like, well, it's fine for you. You got what you needed at different times of your life. And if you didn't get that, then it's going to keep playing up until you resolve it. Yeah.
And some of these things take years, decades to resolve. And so when you hear this reference of, well, we're like an onion, well, I'm sorry to say, yeah, we are. And recovery is possible. But that all starts with the mindset of everything is practice. I think the best advice I ever heard, it was either Denise Duffield Thomas or Tasha Corbin. Everything on social media is just practice. Once I had that, I'm like, oh, so it doesn't matter. No, if you don't like it, delete it.
I really think the words mistake and failure should just be erased.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't usually say should, but I would love it if those 2 words were just erased from our language. Yeah. And my sons get it. Like, they've been raised so beautifully and they have no trauma and just, you know, in a bosom of love their whole lives. And they have such a great growth mindset. And I think, wow, you know, I could have used that when I was 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, in saying that, the generation that came before us created a beautiful, energetic foundation for us to stand and find our light. And now we're doing that for our children, but they're doing it much, much younger and much faster. Like, I feel like I look at some people who come and see me as a client and hilarious. They'll do spiritual journey work in a year, and it's taken me 3 decades to get there. Like, you special individual. I'm trying to really watch my language here.
We don't have to. I usually say explicit on the podcast, so don't worry about it too much. Yeah, I mean, we all stand on the shoulders of what came before, and bless that, you know, for a better society and culture overall as we grow forward.
So look at the women who came before us who in their lifetime finally got a vote and were allowed societally to work and to have children out of wedlock, God forbid. And if they didn't want to wear a bra or a corset, they could.
It's hard. It's easy to forget, like, how recent, like, women's liberation to its current degree was. Like, it was not that long ago. And I guess I have, like, pretty high expectations for equality, and I keep bumping into reality. I'm like, really? Is it still like this? Is so broke.
Yeah. And I mean, the Queen died yesterday. Look at what she would have seen in her lifetime.
Yeah, radical change.
Whether you're into her and the monarch or not, you know, she worked at a job for 70 years. She saw 16 prime ministers through. She got staying power, that chick.
Yeah, she had a good crack. Boy,
but there's a lot of grit there.
I mean, before we say goodbye, I want to talk about your book, because we have mentioned trauma a few times, and I love your book. Do you want to tell us a sniffle about the book and just any way in? Because I think the thing at the moment is, when I talk to my people, I'm like, yes, we need to generate safety. We need to watch out for our emotional regulation. And I'm thinking that there's a piece where we need to have an emotional regulation toolkit, you know, like what are the things that you have in your toolkit? But I'd love to hear you just weigh in on it.
Well, my book is called This Is My Raw, Transform Your Trauma Tale. So thank you for that prompt. I think the first key when it comes to trauma, or recognizing that you're triggered, is that acknowledgement process, that surrender into the invitation that you're not quite right, that you're running now a survival program which isn't in present time. It's from a previous experience that's just hanging around and causing you to behave or dysregulate in a certain way. When we're able to recognize that, it's at that point you can start the shadow journey work of reflecting and exploring what is it that pushes my buttons about this thing, this place, this person, and what do I need to do to shift this so that it stops triggering me over and over and over again. And so that's a lot of the work that I do, both in clinic but absolutely in the book, breaking down the description of how we react on the survival program neurologically, physically, emotionally, mentally. And here's a whole heap of strategies. I think I've got over 120 affirmations and activities to work through how you acknowledge where you're not hugely abundant or hugely loving or whole even, where you've gone and run that survival program.
I'm going to go get my copy of the book back out, because clearly I need to have a review there. I think maybe there's something like a collab workshop you and I need to run or something.
Absolutely.
And so it's on your website, but it's also, is it on Kindle? Where is it?
It is on Kindle. It's on Amazon. Is it Booktopia? No, or I would have to have a look without embarrassing myself.
You've given me the links. I'll pop them up.
And I will give you the list, because
it's a very practical book, though. Like, and I love the way that it's got this technical aspect, but then also just like how that manifests for you and all the affirmations and how to. So
thank you. It's definitely designed. What I found when I went through breast cancer and having PTSD myself was being able to have a language when I spoke to someone of, I'm experiencing this right now, and it's so empowering to be able to speak up. But often we can't speak up because we don't know what's going on. We just feel paralyzed in the freeze mode or the flight mode or the fight mode. But when you actually can break that down to work out, well, what's going on in my body neurologically, it's so empowering to go, well, oh, that's actually what my anxiety is, or this is what my overwhelm program is. And I've put case studies with it from my own experience and that of clients, case studies without names, so that people actually understand, and this is what it looks like. So it might not be you. You might be reading that book for a friend so that you know actually how to help them. It might be changing the invitation of your language with them from how are you today? So is today a good day? Rather than the pressure of, so how are you? Fine. And you get nothing. Whereas, so is today a good day or is it a challenging day? It's challenging. Is there anything that we can do about that? And it's completely different.
I love you.
I love you too.
I just love you. I feel so lucky to know you. What a blessing.
I feel the same way. I could sit here and cry about how many times you've helped me.
I think we usually cry on calls about how much we like each other. So
you normally laugh at me, and that's fine because I laugh at me too.
It's good. It's good. And so you're on Insta, you've got your website, there's the book.
Yep, I'm on Facebook, Google my business, Instagram, LinkedIn. Come find me, search Change Chick.
And also, like, it's worth noting, you're a kinesiologist and other things, and you serve clients, and you're also a trainer. Like, you also support other kinesiologists and business people.
Yes.
As well. So you've been bi-directional.
I love that. I love helping and watching the fledgling practitioner fly. They're so empowering. Because I can't service the world. I know the exact niche audience I can service and what I can help them with. And when it comes to an issue that that's actually not my bag, I'm going to refer you to my locum or I'll refer you to someone in my network because I want for you to succeed and work through this. So I love the fact that, the more people have kinesiology in the world, it would be a better place.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think, too, it's just lovely watching people find their light and then shine it out, and it's so empowering. And I'm sure you would see that all the time.
That's what I live for. I just live for helping women get more visible and shine their light more.
Same.
Wonderful.
We could do this all day.
Yeah, that's great. So we both hope that you are growing your business, shining your light. And thanks for tuning in. It's lovely to see you. And check out Karen. She's a boss.
Thank you. Lovely to see you all.
See ya. Stop recording.